Hey guys, it's been a while since I made a video. It's been a long time actually. But anyway, Halloween's around the corner and I need to make another pyramid head. So I started working on it, but I thought I'd start from the beginning and show exactly how I make each piece. This is the one I did not last year. I've had it for a while now, for a few years now. This is the first one I made. I got a video on this on YouTube. You can kind of see how I did everything there. Anyways, this one here was my first one I did, which has been a lot of fun and stuff, but it's not the right size compared to the person wearing it. If you look at on the game or the movie, on the pyramid head, the width of the helmet should not be beyond the shoulders of the person wearing it, and this one's pretty wide. This one here would look really good if the person wearing it was literally like 8 foot tall and really big, broad-shouldered, and so it's a little big for me and pretty much most people that wear it. So anyway, I'm starting over, and this is what I make it out of. This stuff here, you can get this foam at Lowe's. This is how it comes, like in they call it fan fold because it's kind of like comes in a fan. It's a 1/4 inch thick, and it's two-sided. The first side is real rough. This is the side that I have exposed on the helmet. It's rough and it kind of gives it a textured look. The other side, if you look at it, it's really smooth and actually has a plastic layer over it. Whenever I do this, I cut the pieces out and then I peel the plastic layer off because I want glue to stick to the actual foam and not the plastic layer. So anyway, this is what I start with. Right here is the pieces that I had already pre-cut out. Stop it. This is the piece that I have cut out. And stop. Damn cat. I did these a while back, and I have little measurements written down on it. And what I did is I copied the other one, the helmet, similar, and I'm making this a little bit smaller, and I'm making the tip of the nose point down a little bit more. I think that looks more correct than the way I did mine, because the one I did, the nose sticks out a little bit too far, or too high, I think, in my opinion. So that's why I'm redoing it and making it a little different. So the nose is going to stick down a little bit. Stop it! Damn cat. Anyway, so to get these shapes, to get these angles to work to where when I glue them together, to get the right shape was kind of a pain in the ass. So I already got the angles down. Instead of telling you like what degree to cut your angles out, I got kind of an easier way to go about it. So you just use a regular ruler and a marker and just makes the straight lines, and you cut it and it gives you your angle. So I'm going to show you how I did that part. It'll be a little bit easier. Okay, now I'm about to start marking to cut this piece out here. This is the biggest one. You're going to need a Sharpie, a razor blade, any kind you want to use, and a straight edge. I got this one here, I think at Walmart. It's really cheap, like $4 or something, but I would recommend using something metal. That way when you cut, you can run your blade along and not have to worry about cutting into the ruler if it's wooden. Or you can use a tape measure. Just find some kind of straight edge to cut along with. So anyway, to get this shape here, what I started off with a basic shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out and cut my rectangle first, and then I'll show you where to measure in from. Okay, I marked out for my square. What I did is measured 39 3/4 from the end there, and then measured up to here, made a line, and then I measured from the other end over there, came out, made a line, and just joined the line back and forth here. Okay, now the distance between the top and the bottom piece is 19 inches even. So I just marked from the line up, put a dot, did the same thing in the middle, then put a dot and then an end, and then join the line and join a dot. So that gives you my square. Alright, so now that gives the absolute furthest points of my triangle. So now what I do is I set the piece on there, and see, if you look at the tip, it's within the square, and then over there it's within the square. Alright, so now what I did is I measured off the end, put my edge on here like that, and measure it, and it's right at 13 3/4. So I'll put right down here 13 3/4. And then when I get that mark, I'll put like a little line. Hold on. Okay. Okay. That's that. Okay, so I got that mark there, 13 3/4, and that's all I'm going to use for right there. So now what I do from that little mark here, see if you can see it. I got that right there. And then all I did from there, that's the only mark you have to put on it. And then you come over here in the corner, you line up your straight edge in the corner, and then run it down to your little mark here, and then draw your line. Alright, once you get your line, that's the back of the piece. And then what you want to do is take it from the tip over there, from the very corner, go all the way down to the opposite end of the corner, and then draw your line. So when you have your rectangle, this is how it should look right here. That's it. This is the only one that you measure in from here, so it's pretty easy to do this one. And then you cut it out. Now when you cut it out, remember I was talking about this foam is textured on one side and smooth on the other. You can do it however you want, but I chose to do the textured side out. So when I cut it, this one here is the textured side out right now. And then when you go to cut the other piece, make sure you flip it over and do it the other way, so you don't have two of the same. One more thing, when using pieces of foam, you can use one sheet to do two pieces. So try to set your pieces up to where you can get the most out of your foam instead of using a whole sheet to cut each individual one. See, this one here, I got this piece here, and then cut the other side. I flip it over, and then I can continue it over on this side and use one sheet for two pieces. Okay, next is this skinny piece here. This is the actual side of the head. So I did is I measured from here. I think it's 6 inches tall. Yeah, 6 inches from the line here up to the top. So just mark 6, and then 6, and draw two parallel lines. Alright, to get the angle, the shape here, what it is, put the tape measure on the end of it, and came in, I think it's 1 1/4. Yeah, 1 1/4, if you can see that. It's 1 1/4, and then I put a dot. And then from there, I just ran a line from there, from my 1 1/4, down to the very edge. Alright, the overall length of this piece here, stop it, stupid cat. The overall length of the piece is 25.5, I think. Yeah, 25.5. So what I did is I came in 25.5, put a mark here, and then I ran a diagonal line from 1 1/4 over there to over here, and just ran a straight line and marked it out. Alright, then that finishes off this piece here. Once you get it done, you can cut it out, and then you can actually take the piece. Alright, suppose this is the piece here. Just take it out, flip it over on the other side, and you can just trace it out, and then cut it out with a blade. Or you can take it back over to the other side and measure off to get the exact same size, but either way, however you want to do it, whatever's quicker. So that's how you get the measurements for that side, for the side piece. So run two parallel lines, a 6-inch gap in between them, measure 1 1/4 from the end, and then 25 and I think it was a half or something. Yeah, 25.5 to the point of it, and just connect your lines. And that's for that piece there. Okay, so next is the back. This is the last piece, the rear of the head. So what I did is I measured up this piece here. The two parallel lines are 9 3/4 inches apart. So measure 9 3/4 there, 9 3/4 over here. Then draw your two lines. Okay, and to get the angle, it is measure 4.5 inches in. So from the edge here, 4.5 inches in, make your mark. And the overall length of the rear piece is 29.5 inches. So then make another mark here. Alright, and then what you want to do is go from the corner, lay your straight edge, and then come down to here, to this one, make your line, and then the next one from the corner all the way up to the very tip right here. And that gets your piece there. Alright, and then once you get all those cut out, you should have 6 of them all together, 2 front, 2 sides, and 2 back. And then we can start adding some detail to it before I start actually assembling it. Alright, once you get all your pieces cut out, you want to lay them out how it's going to go together. Make sure you have the triangles in the right position. If you do it backwards, it won't fit together right. See, it doesn't fit right like that. So what you want to do is make sure you got it in the right angle. the longest part, 43.5, is the front of the mask. The short part is 23 inches. That's the bottom. The part that you want to join with the side is 26 inches here. Alright, then you just take your piece and set it up here. If you put it the other way, you'll see it just won't work. So these pretty much just stop it. My cat, oh my god, stop it. Anyway, so you just want to line them up. So basically what I do from here is to get an idea of the size and the overall shape, how it's going to look and everything. It depends how wide your shoulders are and stuff. But this one here I'm going to space out at I think 14 inches. Alright, so what I'm going to do is tape it together now, and so I can get an idea of the shape. The overall width for this I'm going to do a lot smaller than my other one. The other Pyramid Head helmet was way too wide. This one I'm going to use these as spaces while I put it together. This is 14 inches even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it all together, and this here is going to attach to here, and then I'll add the other side to it, open it up, and this is what's going to hold the bottom of it open. And then from there I can start gluing it together, and that'll give my shape. Alright, so anyway, here's the two pieces. I got these taped together, so this is how it should look. And I chose to do the smooth side will be the inside of the helmet, and the rough side of the lettering will be the outside. It's got a neat little texture to it anyway. So I do is just lay them over each other, and then I'm just going to tape the end here and there, and then I'll open it up from there. Okay, now that I got it taped together, I can open it up, and you can see I got the shape of the helmet now. Like I was saying, I'm spacing this one out 14 inches, so I cut these out to be 14 inches, and these I'm going to use as my spacers. So what I do is I open it up and just tape it. Kind of hard to do with one hand. Okay, so now I got the little pieces in there, the braces to hold it open, and now you can get an idea of the shape of the whole helmet. It's a pretty decent size, I guess. It's a lot smaller than the other one, but this, to me, I think looks better on the body. And you can change, you can make it bigger if you want, just however, but this is how I'm going to do this one a little bit smaller. Okay, so now this is the shape of it. You kind of see it's got a good point to it. You got the side, and then you got the back piece here. One of the main things I've done with this one, I made it to where, see the bottom, that should be parallel with the ground. That's how I made it for this one to wear. And the nose of it is going to be coming straight down more. My other one is kicked out a little bit more, and to me it didn't look right. So I want this one to be coming down towards the body more. So that's how I'm going to go about doing this one. Okay, now before I start gluing all the pieces together, there's a few things to do. It all depends on how you want to build it. You can do it either way. You can just go ahead and glue it from here, you know, and paint it all up and be done with it. But there's a few things I want to do. If you look, when you join the edges right here, I got a gap. Alright, there's two flat sides to it. You know, I cut it straight, and then when you butt them together and then you bend it, it makes a little opening right here. You can just run your glue gun along it and fill it up with glue, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bevel the edges on it. And that's how I did my other one. I go through and I bevel. I just take the razor blade and take it and hold an angle, and then run it down the side and cut off an angle. So that way, when I put the two pieces together, it'll pinch together flush. It'll be a tight, you know, fit just like that. If not, you can keep it like that, however you want to do it. Or if you just want to sand it, that'll work too. This stuff sands pretty well. So now I'm going to take it back apart, because now from here the pieces are cut and it's ready to go, but I need to start adding some detail to it, and you can't look at it because it's all solid. Okay, so now I've marked out for the window, or so you get the view part. Remember, the 23¼ is the bottom front piece of it. You gotta make sure that's on the bottom. Alright, from there I measured 2.5 inches. That's the width of this piece here. So I measured 2.5 up, made a line. The other pieces here are just 2 inches. I just kind of made up a number. My other one's actually a little different. I measured 3. It's a little bit bigger, so. But this one, since it's a little smaller, I thought this gave it a good size or so. So I measured 2 inches from here, and the 2 inches on the very front. That's the leading edge, or the front of the mask. So 2 there, and then on the very bottom 2.5. The reason why this one's a little bit thicker is because if you remember on the on the actual mast is like a little piece that goes here, and it's like a threaded bolt or rod or something, so I left a little extra space to glue that onto. So if I was to put it here, if I would have made it just 2 inches only and then glued it on, it would look too cluttered. It wouldn't look right. So I made it 2.5. So what you want to do is mark out this one here, and then the other piece. Okay, now I got the pieces cut out. One Band-Aid later. I was trying to hurry up and cut it before my cat jumped on it and I cut my skin off. Anyway, so here it is. Alright, so now that these pieces are cut out, it's really flimsy. It won't break. It's pretty, you can bend it, but don't worry. It's gonna, once you start putting it together and start adding the teeing into other parts to it, it gets pretty strong and sturdy. But right now it's really flimsy, so that's okay. It's normal. That's the way it is. Okay, so now next what I have to do is I chose on my other one, I ran like a net across it. Okay, now next I'm going to add some of the net that I used like on my other one. I kind of like the way it came out, and it's really easy to do. If you look on this one here, or if you can see it, I have like a little net type design on there, and then behind that's just an actual screen, like a screen door type screen, so you can see out of it but can't look into it. So what I used for that is just rope. I don't know if you could tell, I got it at Walmart. It was really cheap, like $2 or something. But this is actually rope. And I just kind of weaved it in and out, and then when I got done I painted it, and the rope just, painted, so it came out okay. Or if you can get black rope, that'll work fine too. So that's what I'm going to do next on here, is I'm going to use a hot glue gun. I'm going to glue it down. Remember, the smooth side faces in, so you're going to glue the rope directly on top of the smooth part here. And just make up whatever kind of pattern you want. I'm just going to run it across here and then braid it down, kind of weave it in and out. And then once that is done, I'm going to cut out a triangle piece of screen and cover up the whole thing with it. And that'll be the backing to it, so you can't see into it. Alright, so here's the rope that I used. You can get an idea about how thick it is. Just pick whatever size looks good to you. I mean, this is kind of thick, but I thought it might look better than something really skinny, So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it here. I'm going to glue it and then pull it down tight and then glue it at the end over here. And then once the glue's dry, it cools off, and then I'm going to cut it with a blade. And then I'll just work my way again all the way down to here, and then work my way back up from the end here and back to over there. That's my cat that'll run off with my rope. So I'm going to start gluing those on. Alright, here's one of them. I got it glued down. You see, I just attached the end, just put some glue on it, then ran it over here tight. You have to let it cool off before you pull on it. So what I do to help is I got a little thing of pins here, and while it's drying or cooling down, just run the stick the pin through the rope and into the foam, and it kind of anchors it down for the time being. Alright, so then I pull it across tight here, put like a little blob of glue, see if you can see that, and then put my pin in there to hold it down. Alright, and then I'm going to cut this off here, and then just keep on repeating the same thing, using the pins to hold it in there so it keeps kind of a tension. If you pull it too tight, it'll actually bow the foam up, so you don't want to get too tight with it. Some of the tension to be taken away once I start weaving in, going the other direction. But that's how I do that. Alright, now I got the first row of the rope done. And see, I got them all attached and they're all pinned down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it now across this way here, but I'm going to weave it in and out. I'm going to go up and over, and it'll kind of look better than just running it behind. Also, to kind of keep a little bit of tension on it. So I'm going to repeat the same thing, except for just weave it in and out of the ones that are there already. And then I'm going to attach them, and then I'll go on to the next piece. Alright, so here it is. After I got all the rope glued down and pinned. I just weaved it in and out. This one above, the next one went under, and just kind of alternated it so it would look different, or uniform. So anyway, that's how it looks like now. I gotta let it finish cooling off. Here's the side, the exposed side. Gives it that look there. And then when it's painted, it'll look like a metal mesh or something. Just give it some kind of texture. Just besides just putting a plain screen. I could have just done the screen, but this gives it something a little extra. Alright, so now I got this screen cut out and I'm putting that on. Here's how it comes in a roll. I got this at, I think Walmart or something. I just chose the one that had the thickest weave, something that would be, they have other ones you can see right through, and I just figured, the darker the better. So I did just cut it out to the size and ran the glue along it, and I'm using the back end of my Sharpie to mush it, to mash it down and let the glue come through the screen, because it's pretty damn hot, so watch out when you're doing this so you don't get burnt. So I'm just going around gluing it and then mashing it down, and then I'll do the other side. Okay, now I got the screen all glued down, went all the way around it, and glued it with the glue gun and mashed it down to make sure the glue came through the pores or the holes in the screen. And this is how it looks on the other side. See, it looks pretty black. And even in the daylight wearing this thing, you can't really see in it, especially in the daylight, you can't see in it.